Train your mind to listen to the voice of the Lord rather than the voice of the enemy. How do we actually do this? You do this by spending time with God. It's like any other relationship. You're not going to know the voice of your mom or your dad, your other siblings, your friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. You're not going to know their voice or recognize their voice unless you have a relationship with them. If I put a recording of a bunch of strangers, you're not going to recognize them because you don't know them. You have to know the person to recognize their voice. And when you begin to learn and grow in a relationship with somebody, and you start to learn who they are, their characteristics, and their values, you can recognize not only their voice, but you can align what they're saying with who they are. So recently for myself, when the Lord speaks to me, and I've been reading His Word, I align what I just heard with His Word. If it doesn't match His Word, I know it's not from Him. And I know a lot of us have a hard time trying to figure out whether it's our thoughts, it's the Lord, it's the enemy, it's the voices of other people. Here's how you can tell. If it doesn't align with God's Word, then it's not from Him. For instance, the enemy is not going to tell you to go give, whether that's your time, your money, your energy, and helping other people. It's not going to do that. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's all. So, not only is it good to recognize the voice of the Lord, you also have to understand the voice of the enemy. You have to know who the enemy is. And again, going back to if it doesn't align with God's Word, then it's not for Him. And so whenever I hear a voice, somebody talking to me, one, I see if it aligns with the Lord. I see if it doesn't, is it the voice of the enemy? Also at the same time, when I think it doesn't align with the Lord, when it comes to, is it just my own thoughts? Am I the one out here just telling myself to go do all that stuff even when I don't feel like it? Usually it's God pushing me in a sense to encourage me to go reach out and do stuff like that. So it all goes back to knowing and building a relationship with God and recognizing as well who your enemy is and His voice, so that you can have discernment on which one is actually speaking to you.
Show me how.
Yo, you want to see something cool? No? Well, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is not take a step forward. Sometimes the best thing you can do is either step back, analyze the situation, because sometimes when you hit that wall, that problem, instead of actually just trying to take a step and feeling like there ain't nothing you can do, take a step back, analyze the wall, see what you can do, analyze your problem before actually even considering taking the next step. And sometimes the best thing you do is take a step to the side, because then you realize the wall ain't a wall, it's just a pole, and it ain't that big. And all you have to do is just go around it. And other times, you gotta just hack at it. It's like a tree, all right? You're chopping at the tree, and you're 5 chops away for it to fall down. Sometimes you just gotta keep hacking at it, keep going. But just continuing to take one step forward, it's not always the solution. Sometimes you need to take a step back, sometimes you need to take 2 steps to the side, and sometimes you need to just keep moving forward. Home isn't a place. It's where the people is. It's where your family, your support, the ones that you're closest to, your circle of people. That's what home is. A lot of times people feel like they're lost and they don't have a home. And a lot of times you're maybe just in a season where you're trying to, you're constantly moving. You're constantly in transition. And so you feel like you're not stable enough to be like, I have no place to call home. Just realize home isn't a physical place. It can be if you create it. But that's when we get so attached to a physical place that we miss the mark and realize that home is actually where the people are. It's the people that we surround ourselves that are comfortable enough to be ourselves, who accept us for who we are and encourage us and support us in our life. That's home. Your circle of people. And never forget that. Cherish that, support that, you learn to grow with that. When you realize that, you realize no matter where you meet up at in this world, when you're with those people, that's home. I heard this saying that faith is like when you're driving a car at night. It's a very dark road, and all you have is your headlights, and your headlights light up only 100 feet. And you drive that 100 feet, and at the end of that 100 feet, you drive another 100 feet. And you just keep believing and having faith that the road keeps moving forward, that there's a road ahead that you keep driving on. But you only focus on that first 100 feet. You don't worry about the next 100 feet or the 100 feet, 500 feet miles down the road, whatever. You focus on the 100 feet that your high beams is focused on. That's it. And the thing about faith that we as human beings get so caught up in is we try to understand everything. We want to know everything. We want to know all the steps, the whole game plan. But that's not what faith is. Faith, the reason they call it a leap of faith is because you do it without knowing. You don't know the outcome. You don't know what it's going to look like. And that doesn't mean that it's always going to be a bad thing. Especially if you know that other people have done it before you and succeeded and been okay. That's why they call it a leap of faith, because you're not going to know. You're not supposed to know the outcome or what it's going to look like until you do it. You have faith that it's going to be good. You have faith that it's going to be okay and all work out. That's the whole point, is you do it in hopes that it's going to work out. But you're never going to know whether good or bad unless you take the leap of faith. Take that first step. The way to defeat doubt and worry and anxiety is to have proof. The reason that you think that it's impossible for you to do anything is because you don't have proof to back up that you can. So get the proof, whether it's to get your first sale, make your first dollar online, or start your business and get your first client, whatever it is. Work your butt off just to get that started. Get your first client first. Get your first sale. Make your first dollar online. Make first 50 cents online. Doesn't matter. Once you get that first step, that proof right there that it will show you that it's possible, you get $1 online, you can get $1 million online. I'm telling you, the reason you think it's impossible is because you don't have proof. Go get your proof. Don't focus on the 10K. Focus on making $1 online. And I swear to you, if you can make $1 online, once you make it, you're going to realize you can make 10K, you can make $1 million, you can make 1 million sales. Get that first one first.